Hello fellow model makers. So if you watch some of my builds of these Meng World War II tanks, sometimes I'll try to put a piece into these U-star vices, but the heavier the object is, it doesn't stay in place because it's a pretty small vise. The reason why I bought this, is because it has this quick adjustment knob, which I find very convenient. And it's actually a much cheaper vise than the Dspiae one. So yeah, so I thought maybe I would try putting some rubber tape, well, electrical tape, I guess it's plastic tape, rubber tape, I don't know what you want to call it, but you can see it doesn't want to stay in place. And frankly, I don't think it makes much difference if I pop this same tank in here at some point in time. Actually, it does help, but no, still, it falls, right? Because it's just not very heavy. So thanks to some commenter on the review of these U-stars, this commenter went and bought the Dspiae. It does cost a lot more money, but hopefully it's worth it. And you're paying for a heavier price, which basically should hold more weight, right? So it came with this. This seems wasteful. I don't know why someone would want a cardboard thing of their circle cutter in it's garbage like this. That's a problem. There's just no need for it. Okay, so this is obviously a pretty big box. Let's get this thing open. I'm curious how much bigger. And look at this again. Complete garbage going right into the trash and into your kidneys a little later after it becomes microplastic. Alright, so now we got this box here. It's called the ATSV Spherical Vise. There we go. Single axis thread, 20 pairs of clamping rod holes. It weighs 1.5 kilos, so that's quite heavy. We'll weigh that one a little later. So Dspiae does have very nice packaging, so if you want to give this kind of stuff away as a gift to a fellow, someone that makes models, this is a classy gift. I always complain about it because this is a very expensive box that I had to pay for, and it's just going to end up right into the trash, so I'm basically throwing away money. Alright, so it's got this foam thing. Adhere the anti-slip pad to the bottom, that makes sense. Rubber tubes on the stainless steel rods. Alright, the rest is pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, this is a big one. Definitely a big one. Okay, yeah, you can see it's done with that. Okay, so sadly, I'll probably keep this box just in case I sell something on eBay and ship it. So we have some silicone tubes to keep the models you're clamping from getting all scratched up. This is, I don't know what that would be for. It seems, I don't know, we'll find out. It comes with this hex wrench. Okay, so this base here, yeah. I have to stick on this rubber foot pad so it doesn't slide around on my table. It actually it's specifically made for Dspiae, it seems. It's always hard to get the backing off of rubber. Come on. There we go. So, what's the best way to do this? Maybe I'll just put it on the table. Nice and flat like that. We'll get this from above. Not perfect. But it doesn't exceed the border, so I guess you could try it again. Forget it. I'm just going to go with that. So this is a sandblasted finish, and it's got a laser rastered Dspiae logo on there, so that's kind of nice. It's aluminum. Then you have this plastic ring that the ball's going to rest on. I don't know what this is made of. It almost feels like possibly Delrin or POM or something. I don't know. Okay, so pretty decent fit there. There's not much wobble, very little, much less than a millimeter of wobble. Oh boy, not wearing a shirt again. I really got to wear some clothes. Hold on. Do you guys a favor, I actually put on a shirt. This thing is so reflective. It's hot. I live in the tropics, so I never wear clothes indoors, to try to keep my air conditioning costs down. If If you live in Florida, I suppose you'd understand, although here it's getting cold there these days. Alright, so without the pins, because you don't know how many pins you're going to use, let's turn this thing on. Ooh, man, that is heavy. Alright, so base 66, the plastic thing. Now it's 84. Now this Mondo thing. It's actually more than 1.5 kilos. Maybe it's just the sphere itself is. Yeah. So, anyways, it's a pretty heavy object, and actually, it is the sphere that matters because that doesn't affect the ability to hold your model. It just keeps the sphere from moving, right? So, and now it's 1480. Okay. So now the U-star without the pins. That's a big difference, 361 versus 1480, right? So theoretically this should hold 3 times as much weight, more than 3 times as much weight, theoretically. Okay. So again, I'm not sure what this would be for. What would it go around, right? Please leave a comment. Maybe the same commenter that convinced me to buy this. I don't know. What is this for? Anywho, I'm curious if the Dspiae pins will fit, so I guess out of curiosity's sake, if you lose your pins, you can buy 3mm rods, hopefully. Technically it's 2.8, so maybe a 3 wouldn't fit. But, yeah, alright. So, what I like about the Dspiae pins is they have these rubber end caps. So, it's a much cleaner design. I think they give you 6 with each vise. And if you're a little curious what the heck I did here, these are M3 plastic standoffs. So I shaved down the thread a little bit and I forced them into the holes. And then I have rubber shrink wrap to keep my thing from getting scratched. Even though it's plastic, it shouldn't scratch your models. But, you know, if it's a clear coated model, maybe the plastic would dent the clear coat or something. So, but I don't think the rubber would. Okay, so these, out of curiosity, are the same length, it seems like. So you could have both brands and interchange the fixing pins there. So if you just have a bunch of steel pins like this, it's going to definitely scratch up your model, scratch off paint and stuff. So that's why they provide this stuff here. And I think it might make more sense to actually put the pins in, then put the silicone tube over. That way you know how much, right? I think it'd be difficult to cut these scissors evenly, so I have this old Craftsman thing. I don't know if Craftsmans are still around, but yeah, that's a much cleaner cut. I think scissors would curve the cut. Anywho, let's move on. Let's see if I can jam this on. Oh, yeah. I thought I might have to lubricate it with water, but not the case. So if I want to save time, maybe I'll just do both ends on 2 pins. Oh, yeah. If you run out of this tubing, the outer diameter is around 5, and then obviously the inner would be around 3. So you could just find some inner diameter 3mm tubing and, you know, use that stuff. So now that we know the depth of the things, I'm going to now cut this here. Leave a little extra on top so it doesn't expose that metallic edge. Don't want to scratch up my models. Yeah, that method seems to work. I generally only use 4 pins. I've never really had a need to use more than 4. But, so anyways, how many pins do you get? I think you get like 8 or 12. Hold on, let me finish this here. I also realized I'm wearing my shirt backwards. Not that it matters to you guys. Oh boy, a pin just rolled out down that edge. So yeah, so you get 8 for sure. No, wait, 10 maybe, because there's another one. So there's 5 now on this side. And, oh, this one rolled over here. And then one rolled off the edge. So even after putting all that tubing on all 10 pins, I still probably have a good half of it left over. So you can mess up and you'll still have plenty left over, or you could lose some of them and you'll have plenty left over. So I don't think this will ever be an issue, because I have a hard time thinking you're going to ever use 10 pins at once. You know, as I mentioned, I always just use like 4, so those will just go away for now. Alright, so one reason why I also didn't buy this a long time ago is there's no easy way to adjust the width of this thing. You literally got to have this, which looks really amateur hour, right? This is just... it's a little rough too. You might want to put some grease in there, but that also might contaminate your model, so it still works without it. Alright, well, just like the U-Star, the top part will spin, but I locked mine out. So this U-Star, I think that locks the blue thing from spinning. But yeah, if you want to spin your model nice and easy, that's very smooth. So now I'm a little curious. I'm going to unlock the U-Star. This is quite smooth also, so I gotta say, this is still a nice product. It's just meant for smaller models. And so in fact, let me extend this all the way and let's see how big of a model you can clamp in this thing width-wise, and same with the other one. But again, the weight is the issue with this one. So putting a ruler in here, it's probably around 75 millimeters. 74 millimeters, a little bit under 3 inches if I had to guess there. Let me put the 3 inch. It's definitely under 3 inches, but just a little bit. Hopefully you can see that increment. Alright, so that's the issue with that one. But I do like this knurled nut. It's very easy. But pleasantly, I found you can buy an additional handled nut thing. So, nice packaging again from this brand. This one I don't feel too guilty throwing into the ocean. We're just going to end up there. And so basically you have a chopped off version of that Allen wrench. And so if for some reason you lose the Allen wrench, it's an M5. Okay. So this is just unnecessary unless... Nope. You can still probably use this here, yeah, to lock off the spin factor. So it goes in and out pretty easily. So that's good. I suppose you could buy 2. But anyways, that does spin nicely. Let's see if I can create some resistance so it doesn't spin as fast, because that might be something you're looking for. That's locked. Well, no. No. It's not like a clutch. It's smooth and it just stops for some reason there. So I think it's either full open, nice and smooth, or locked. Alright, I'm gonna just lock it for now. Let me undo this, and let's see. Pretty wide thread angle, so it does open relatively fast. Is it gonna collide with this tool? Or is it gonna fall off, I wonder? Look at that. They actually fall off. I don't know if that's gonna... It can't happen here because this traps it. Right? You can't lose that. It's very close to falling out, but it can't because this stops it. So that's an advantage of the U-Star design. Yeah, that could be an issue, I suppose, but I guess you just gotta keep in mind that this will fall off. So that there, I guess like one turn of a thread. Now, let's get the ruler out again. This is like a little under 3 1/4. Hopefully you can see that increment. I'm touching the metal and not the silicone. Okay, metric wise, I would say 82 millimeters is this clamping distance. So it's definitely bigger for sure. Just an easy visual reference here. If I line up these pins here roughly, it's not much different considering how big this ball is. So this is actually amazingly wide for something this small. Okay, so how heavy was that tank, I wonder? I don't think it's going to have any problem holding this tank, but we should probably weigh it. 88 grams. Yeah, so 88 grams in this thing, at a certain angle, it just falls over. So I'm placing it roughly in the middle. Granted, the turret is a little heavier. Let me change the angle of camera view. So it's vertical. Yeah, even less than 45 degrees, maybe 20, 30 degrees, it falls over, right? So that gets annoying when you're trying to put decals on something. Boy, look at that. That's definitely a wider thing. Okay, now the question is, I feel like I might want to glue this in here so it doesn't fall out. So that's vertical. Oh yeah, look at that. That's like 45 degrees if I had to guess. No movement whatsoever. I don't want to destroy my turret. This is full lean. It can't go any further. Let me put it backwards. Wow, that's... So this thing is awesome. It's significantly more expensive, but you're getting what you pay for. And in this case, it's a big chunk of heavy metal. So yeah, this is really easy to use. I mean, you could move this model in any position, put decals on it, or do some detailed paint work. Not an issue at all. But this thing, you kind of have to be mindful of what you're putting in there. It's just not heavy enough. I feel like ideally, you know, because the size of this is so small, yet it can clamp a pretty wide object. If they just had a magnet, like a big neodymium magnet down here, and maybe the bottom sphere was made of steel instead of aluminum, you know, ferrous steel, then the magnet would clamp it down and it wouldn't want to shift as much. But being a sphere, you'd still be able to move it. What do you guys think? I don't know. I'm not an engineer, but it sounds like it should work. But this one's just going for the weight, and it works fine. Almost no resistance moving it, because that could be Delrin or some sort of Teflon, like, you know, very slick plastic. I don't think it's ABS. Well, of course, it could be wrong again. So very high quality. If Dspiae was smart, they would just give you one or two of these keys from the get-go instead of making you buy it. I mean, it's so expensive. I feel like this should be built into the cost. You can, I think, basically buy two of these for one of those. Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, this is definitely awesome. So you're going to see this in future model making videos. But just off the initial impression, look at this. This thing will do fine. Let me try to find something heavier. Let's just see if a little lubrication oil will actually make this a little bit better. Just a little bit. I don't want it getting all flooded. So naturally I gotta tighten that to get on those threads there. And I gotta put some on the other side so when I open it, I feel like grease might slow it down. That's why I'm going with the thin oil. Oh, also the middle is causing some resistance. Oh, I'm gonna have to open it further. I don't think it made a difference though. Maybe it'll polish itself out after a while, but don't be surprised if you're gonna feel a little bit of drag. You know, it's not super smooth. Maybe also this thing could be bigger, so you could just use your finger like this, right? If the lobes are just a slightly bit bigger, because you have the height, I think, to get away with it. But anyways, maybe not when you go there. But let's see. I found a DeWalt battery pack here. Let's see how heavy this is. So this is 350. So horizontal, yeah, 45-ish. Oh, there it goes. So 350 grams. It's not gonna hold it past, I would say that's roughly 45. Somewhere around the 45 mark, maybe it starts to, yeah. But under 45, it'll hold 350 grams, no problem. Well, curious, this drill here. This thing's 437 grams. I did the center of it. Oh yeah, so it's not going to hold everything that you want. But who's making models that weigh 350 grams? I don't know. But I suppose if you're doing arts and crafts, you know, sculpting stone or chunks of plastic or something, maybe it matters to you. I'm also noticing you have grooves in here. So if you want to hold, you know, round objects like a pin holding a little wargaming figure in place, it'll do that both horizontally. Oh, it's only on one side though. It's only on this side, the grooves. This side is perfectly flat. The U-Star, nope, it's perfectly flat on both sides. So that's an advantage there. I'm trying to think what else is there to talk about. I don't think there's much else to talk about. The spin thing is really nice, I guess. I generally don't use it though, because I think it's going to move when I don't want it to. So I usually just lock it, you know, and I just move the sphere itself because it's easy enough to do. As you can see, yeah, it's quite slick. So very nice. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Leave a comment if I missed anything, but this is definitely worth the money. So thank you, commenter. I'm sorry if I got your name there. I have so many videos I can't respond to everything. But yeah, that's a great thing about comments. You learn from other people. So thanks for helping me out, and hopefully this video helps you out. If you have the money and you intend to do a lot of models, I think you should just pay the extra and get this, so you don't have the thing falling. That's the whole purpose of a vise, right? But if you're only going to work on really small things that aren't very heavy, this is a lot less money, and it's, you know, as long as it doesn't weigh too much, it's very easy to use. So that's why I have two of them. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next model making tool video.